Hey everyone, it's Ryan back here with Transfer Protocol. So in my last video, I talked about telling the truth. So in this video, I believe it's on my heart to talk about telling the truth. Now, one thing as I began this whole process with God and really just trying to step out in faith and honestly just live a life that's spirit led and doing everything that I can to exemplify what God has called me to be in my life. I'm going to be honest, man. This journey has been tough. It hasn't always been fun. I know a lot of times people get on here and God is awesome. I'm going to say that first and foremost. But they bring words of encouragement, obviously to help people. But there's some truth that I feel like some people leave out. That, I've been in I guess in a wilderness type of season for almost a little bit over a year. And it started with coming to the realization that God created me for more than what I was showing up as. And really just going through this journey with discovering who God created me to be initially before, other people's judgments, other people's perceptions, took over. And as I began this journey, I think it started with me quitting my corporate job. And there in that position, I was hired from a different company to help with sales, help with marketing. And essentially, by the time I quit, I was doing the work of 4 different people. Now, I'm not opposed to doing hard work, but I am opposed to being, mistreated and undervalued. For a long time, as long as I can remember, it's been prophesied to me that I would be in the business arena and that I would do all these great things in business, and I would help the kingdom in this area. And I have failed. I have failed in business, and I had made that so much a part of my identity, about my control, and it failed. It blew up in my face. And obviously, I believe the reason it blew up in my face is because I was trying to do that business my way. I was not leaning on God for help. I had learned, how to be successful, or what I thought was successful, from other people. I had mentors in my life who were successful in business, who were around, and I thought, imitating them, imitating and trying to be like them was the key to success. And the further down that rabbit hole I went, the further my life went into shambles. Yes, I created prosperity for myself. Yes, I created money for myself, but I also created heartache. I created heartbreak. I developed bad habits. I developed appetites for certain things that are definitely not of God. And again, I just gotten so far away from, the person I was when I was, a little kid. And I remember my great grandmother telling me, she made a covenant with God. She didn't know how she was going to take care of us financially. I mean, she was my great grandmother. She was, trying to raise myself and my twin brother on her disability and Social Security income. And we grew up on welfare. I grew up in South Central LA, and it was hard, so just having my grandmother, tell me when I was like 4 or 5 years old, that she had dedicated our lives to God and to doing these things for God, for the kingdom of God, because that was the only way that she saw us having provision and being taken care of. And just looking at my life, how much in the pig pen that I was, like, I felt like I was literally the prodigal son. And it was around this time, December of 2020, during the pandemic. I just felt like God was just like, why are you here? Why are you choosing to live this way? And I think sometimes in our lives, like, we have to get fed up with our current situation. The prodigal son, when he's coming to the realization of who he was, that's where his life began to change and began to turn around. He went back to his father. It's like, sometimes you have to hit rock bottom before you realize how bad it is. And my life was spiraling down, and I couldn't take it anymore. And as I began to just seek God and seek out the plan for God on my life, and he was showing me, to go back into entrepreneurship, and I could do this thing for myself. There were still certain things that God had to correct in my life and God had to fix in my life. And one of those things that I'm going to address in this video, as God says, tell the truth, is one of the things that I allowed to hinder me and to continue to block a lot of blessings in my own personal life, was the fact that I was molested by a youth pastor at my church when I was 16 years old. And being an African-American male, having that hang over your life, I was homeless at that time. So, I don't know. It was like the hardest period in my life. Again, it's a lot of these things that we've been taught, like, we can't really talk about in church. We're taught that, we don't talk about sex or rape or sexual assault and molestation, all these things that happen in real life. People are scared to talk about them in church, and I just stayed silent for so long because I thought, like, the only people who could really understand what I was going through wouldn't even, take the time of day to hear what I had to say about this particular area. And I let this particular thing that happened over my life just keep me in bondage. It kept me in bondage for so long. I mean, I went deep down a rabbit hole, getting into sexual immorality, pornography, drugs, different things that I had no business getting into. I was just looking for a solution to fill the heartbreak that only God could feel. Now, one of the reasons why I realize this now, I didn't let or allow God to feel that, was because I was angry with God. Like, how could you let a quote unquote man of God, do this to me? And there be no repercussions. This person, for the majority of my life, this person has prospered financially. This person has prospered in church, and I can't tell you how many people this person has hurt. Now, I don't have any more animosity towards this person. God has healed my heart. I forgave this person. So this video is not to bash, that person. I'm just telling my truth. And I think a lot of times there's so much trauma and hurt that's gone on in church, and we just don't talk about it. So I just want to share my truth with you guys. As I was going down this process, that was the biggest thing that I had to overcome. I had to forgive that person. It took me months to really truly forgive this person. I lost friends behind me sharing my story. I lost people in my life around me sharing my story. I felt like I even lost certain family members around me telling the truth about what happened to me. And all in all this did was push me closer to finding God and coming back to to God. One of the things that I had to overcome, even more importantly, was just being able to forgive God. Just like, why did you allow this to happen to me? And that's what one of the things that took the longest. And one of the things that I'm still working out, to be honest, is now that I've overcome loving God, is trying to love myself the way that I need to love myself, to get to the next level of where God is calling me. You know, I have to truly love myself. So the only reason why I'm sharing my story is because I know that there are other people out there who are like me, who probably have a similar story. Maybe, I know men, not saying that the circumstance is exclusive to men, but I know, you know, men, we can be prideful and not want to share our testimony and share what's going on with us. And one of the things, as I turn this back around to, you know, this channel, I believe that in this time, God is going to use all the brokenness, all the heartache, all the heartbreak that we've ever experienced as Christians, as human beings on this earth, and use them for good. There are other people who are going through the same situation that you went through or are going through right now. And God wants you to wrap your testimony around helping that person heal, letting people know that they're not the only people who are going through this. There's so much healing that needs to take place in the body, but also, you know, not to make light of the situation, but obviously there are people who will pay to talk about this. So there is opportunity for those people who have healed from their trauma, for you to help other people in a healthy way, and actually receive compensation for it. So I'm going to be sharing different things here on my channel, as the God leads me to that. But the first thing I wanted to do is make an open invitation to anybody who's here, who's experienced anything tough, maybe some of the situations that I just mentioned, like sexual assault or molestation, whatever it is. Maybe you have financial situations, like I said about myself earlier, or maybe you just don't see yourself the way that God sees you. I'm going to invite you. I've opened up a bunch of time in my calendar this month and next month to talk with Kingdom believers, to see if there's anything I can do to help, anything that God has shared with me to help you to overcome the situation and bring healing and restoration to your life. If you want that, there's going to be a link below this video to book a time to speak. I'll be glad to speak with you. Obviously, all of our calls are private calls. Nothing about, you know, your situation or circumstance will ever be shared with anybody else. So I just invite you to go on this healing process with me. God has been doing a number and a work in my life, and I know that if you allow him, he will do the same for you. So that's what this video is about, is telling the truth. And I just hope that this video helps you, especially if you're going through a wilderness season like myself. I want you to be encouraged. God has something beautiful for you. I don't know if you guys can see in the sky, man. It's a beautiful day out here. God has so much in store for you. You can't even imagine. And I just want to just let you guys know that you guys are in my thoughts and my prayers. I hope that you guys have a blessed and beautiful rest of your day. And again, like I said, if that person is you, go ahead and book a time to talk. And I'd love to just personally connect with you outside of YouTube, so we can see what we can do to get you the help and the healing that you need. God bless you guys. I'll see you guys in the next video.